I think all of you will have a chance to preside over a meeting. Some of you are too young. You have not yet been given this responsibility. However, many are experienced in their job, but also are waiting, not with excitement, but with some fears and some kind of insecurity. We would like to prepare you for that job. So let's wait for some more viewers who will share our very interesting topic. You may make suggestions. You can even ask questions, and I hope I will be able to read them from this distance. And we'll try our best to give you the right answer. But of course, if that is beyond my experience, that question can always be answered maybe with an accompanying research so that it will be more convincing and forceful. I said, it's a matter of luck that some get the post of chairman of a meeting and casually are able to carry on the task, the responsibility. However, however, there are those who need some extra preparation. And it's good if we prepare for them by knowing some of the basic rules of how to conduct a meeting. Some of you might be in the government offices, and usually the boss, the head of office, is the authorized leader of the meeting or chairman of the meeting. However, there are emergency situations, and in the absence of the head of office, anyone can assume chairmanship. And this does not really require so much technical knowledge, but once a person assumes this post, at least the basic tools have to be acquired. Shall we give more time to those who have requested to be given some more time before we start the discussion of the topic? So it's very helpful if young students who have not yet been given this task to be prepared. How do we prepare best for this role? by knowing the rules. You call it by Robert's rule of court. In formal lingo, we refer to this as the parliamentary procedure. Parliamentary procedure. Okay? So we say parliamentary procedure. We drop the A. So parley. We say parliamentary procedure. Well, as we have said, the meeting is usually presided by a person we call chairman, chairman of the meeting. Now let's try to recall the origin of the word chairman. Chair, a man. In modern day, the chairman is called a chairperson. But we still go back to the old definition. Let's lean back to the concept handed down to us by the Greeks. It refers to kata. Okay? The first word is kata. Kata. Hydra. So, cathedral. If we know cathedral, we refer to the church of authority, the seat of authority. In our province, we have the cathedral, which is a church, which is the seat of the bishop, the seat of authority, where we have the chair. So, there is a chair. Very important. The chair is the furniture on which the chairman seats. So, this particular furniture is a seat of authority occupied by the chairman. He sits, that means it's very significant that he takes his seat and exercise control over the organization or over the audience. See, he is the person who has control of authority. And when he has the control, whatever happens during the meeting becomes his responsibility. If the meeting is a success, well, he is praised. But if it is a failure, then he gets blamed. So it can run either way. If you are the wielder of power and authority, will you allow, will you permit yourself to go wrong? Definitely not. Sometimes the chairman is also referred to as the president. President. Again, we have two Latin words, pre, meaning before. And sedere means seat. So, audience. So we have before an audience. The president presides over the proceedings before an audience. There is a public to which he is responsible to run the business of the meeting. Sometimes there is no organized meeting yet. In fact, this is a pre-organizational meeting, but it cannot go to any other direction except with a guide. So what happens is, in a gathering of people, usually the more knowledgeable will make a suggestion. Can we ask somebody to act as chairman? They usually look at each other and they choose perhaps the more responsible, the one who looks more dignified, the one who looks more intelligent. He's the one chosen. And since this is a serious job, please consider you will not be chosen unless people think you can do it. So, assume the position. Right away, you go back to the front before the group of people who selected you, and you call for the election of a secretary. The secretary then goes to the board, and the secretary, upon the call of the chairman, is asked to go to the board and conduct, together with the chairman, the election of officers. Now, the officers elected at this moment may be at a temporary position, so need not be the formal organized set of officers. They will act only for the moment that a certain business is to be discussed. So, there is the chairman and there is the secretary, and this almost forms the basic set of officers where you can now jump on to starting the business. But sometimes you encounter some difficulties. Okay, the group has gone there for the purpose of setting up a meeting, but they're not ready. Everybody is talking. There is noise. There seems to be no intention of settling down and really start a discussion. So, what can the elected chairman do? Call attention. Call attention of the group. Ask, are we ready to start our meeting? But still, sometimes noise persists. They seem not to be so serious in their purpose of gathering. So, if there's a gavel, okay, tap it. Tap or rub the gavel. If not, if you have glass, rub or or tinker with a glass to call the attention. If still it is ineffective, it cannot call attention, then rub your knuckles. Knock with your knuckles until the attention is caught, is captured. So you have now an expectant audience. Sometimes a prayer can be said, sometimes the singing of the national anthem. If this is a club, if this is a pre-organization group, but the leaders have already an orientation that they're going to form a club, then sort of they already make the audience, the group, feel what they are there for. So they start with something serious. Okay? They start with a prayer, or sometimes they have the singing of their national anthem, and then this is followed by an opening prayer or a word of welcome from the group. Now, it is also the concern of the chairman that the people who are present are properly accommodated. What I mean is, they have chairs. You don't expect them to stand. Their restlessness will fade away as soon as they are settled. They are given comfortable seats. And the arrangement might be as already part of the the plan of the group who organized this meeting. The seating arrangement might be a square, so it's a small group. The audience may be seated as in a square, okay? Four corners, depending upon the number of people. Or it can be a T. We have a rectangular arrangement. People are seated both sides of the table, and the chairman or other guests are in the bar forming the T. The position might be a T here, the T, the bar, reading bar, and then the body of the T. Or it can be two tables with two sides or four sides, parallel. Okay? Two parallel lines. And then the head, people are perpendicular to the two parallel tables. Again, the point is put the audience in a comfortable arrangement. Also, the atmosphere, the ambience should be properly set. Since this is a meeting which is purposive, purposively organized, arranged, then again, the desired ambience, the desired atmosphere should be set. Okay? So, silence. No extra music, which is distracted. Then we are ready to start the meeting. It's important that we presume that was uh, a temporarily organized group with set of officers just elected to function for this particular meeting. Um, Before the start of the formal meeting, the chairman, in conference with the members who are responsible for the formation of this gathering, should agree on an agenda. Agenda is very important. List down what have to be taken. It's good if you take one important matter at a time. Don't be too ambitious. One important matter at a time. Well, if it is to meet an emergency, only that particular issue should be taken up. But the list of detailed events for that short meeting should be lined up. What's to happen first? Okay? Next, there is a proposed order of the meeting. Okay? What is that order? So, call to order. For that particular setup, since you've already chosen the chairman and the secretary, then call to order. The chairman may announce after everybody has been prepared, no more destructive talks. Everybody seems to be focused now on what is going to happen. Then the chairman may say, I now call the meeting to order. What is the position of the chairman when he says that? Ladies and gentlemen, to show command, to show seriousness in the responsibility he accepted. Stand and rise above this situation. Okay? May I now call the meeting to order. No extra talks. No extra gestures. A chairman should be respectable. No time for humor. No time for laughter. Don't sacrifice dignity in exchange for laughter. This is no time for laughter. Okay? So, the second part is the reading and approval of minutes of a previous meeting they had. If there is none, then we say the chairman declares at once that the main focus, the main target of this meeting is this particular specific business matter. Then maybe they can form, it's necessary, again on a tentative status, form members of the committee, maybe in anticipation of a celebration. Okay? Committees on invitation, committee on arrangement, committee on setting, place setting, committee on the program, committee on entertainment. All the necessary committees are composed. And usually, the head of each committee takes responsibility in getting the members of his group. Okay? Then, after committees have been formed, the heads of the different committees may again tentatively come up with individual reports. Okay? These are our plans. these are some funding we need. Okay, these are some other um, all these tools we need. These are other facilities which may be needed. If you're a committee on invitation, you need to issue invitations, therefore, stationaries, what else? Distribution of invitations, you need a vehicle, okay? So, whatever the individual needs of the committee should already be discussed with the chairman, okay? And then, when all the others are reported, the chairman, you see, has a broader outlook. He has a perspective view of almost all that each committee would need. And then he can make suggestions. But remember, the, the chairman needs to have a very defined stance. He should be careful about over talking. Remember, you are only one to guide. Let the members decide, make decisions. It's only when and they have exceeded or they have gone beyond the limits that the chairman should interfere or interrupt and then cut some exercise in order that there would be no luxury of freedom. There would be no excessive exercise of rights. But again, a chairman serves only as a guide. Much of the decision, much of the comments will be done by the members of the committee, the heads of committee. Okay? Then um, maybe if somebody who is in charge of the program can already roughly list down what are the details of the program, who are the tentative speakers to be invited, and why. If there is need for discussion, sometimes the matter of inviting a person needs the discussion of a group. See, if you're a club and you don't want to be politically involved, maybe you have to be safe in your invitations. See to it that somebody whom you invite is not going to, well, make a blemish of your organization. Um, Maybe you can think of persons whose interest is shared by the organization. Okay? So after the program has been polished, the especially the speakers, even the inclusion of some entertainment activities have to seek the approval of the chairman, final approval of the chairman and other officers. Then you adjourn. Adjourn. Be sure the adjournment has a definite time and maybe a plan for a subsequent meeting so that there also this can be there and then this can be approved by also the members of the committee. Okay. um, Sometimes, after the close of the meeting, one member will come up with a remark. Okay? There are people who love extensive remarks. There are some people who have a very zealous interest for public speaking. How does a chairman deal with this? Again, the chairman should hold himself. He should not, this is even for an irritating member who talks too much. Always, the chairman should hold his cool. Be composed. Don't blow your top. Be respectable. Don't sacrifice dignity for bad language. Be consistent. You're held up high by people. Be consistent. Be one who deserve the respect given you by being named head of a group of people. Okay? Maintain it and deserve it and tell people you do not regret having named me for the position. Okay? Now, let's go to some portions of the meeting. Sometimes, if a new business has to be introduced, the chairman would say, will you, this calls for a motion. Can you move that this topic be taken up? And usually this is seconded. When you second, you don't need the recognition of the chairman. You just say it even without standing. Okay? But there are some motions which really need to be seconded. Okay? So, unless it's a very formal, legal matter, then what if somebody moves for that issue and it's quite a legal matter? Beyond the chairman to explain, expound, and discuss. You know, a chairman can always be humble. He can say, well, I'm stuck. I don't feel competent discussing this matter. If you are humble, then the group will sympathize with you. They'll be very cooperative with you. You know, a person has its limitation. Or this subject may be assigned to a committee for further study. And then for the next meeting, that committee can report the results, the findings of her group. Then only in. So by the second meeting, after the meeting has been called to order, usually the first thing that happens is the reading of the previous minutes. Now, the previous minutes may be subject to a more serious scrutiny, may be subject to correction, may be subject to suggestion, may be subject even to change. However, if it is to be corrected, somebody will have to put it in motion. I move that this particular phrase in the meeting be corrected. I was in the previous meeting and the term is this. If the term, this new term is used, then it is capable of sowing misunderstanding, confusion. Okay? Now, if the meeting has some issues, has some subject matter which create doubt or some misinterpretation, then that can be uh, further clarified. Somebody can move for the clarification. Okay? Then the chairman recognizes that person, the mover of the motion, and then maybe that person himself will make the explanation, will clarify matters. Then the chairman will say, is there any comment? Any objection to the suggestion given? Usually it is necessary that the chairman recalls the original version. Then the new version, which is a subject of discussion, may be compared. Then the chairman can ask somebody, will you put this to a motion? Put this to a motion? And then it was moved and seconded that this particular term be eliminated or be replaced with something else. Okay? So notice the flow of events. As events come in, commented, discussed, it is a very smoothly run event. Okay? No way does the chairman obstruct. He is all facilitated. He makes things flow, except when he thinks that it is against order. See? The first role of the chairman is to be a pilot. You see? The pilot has a specific direction. He knows exactly where to lead the ship. He knows where are the dangerous reefs. He knows where are the disaster areas. He knows how and when to steer the course of his ship in order that this meeting will reach its destination safe and successful and without delay. That is the pilot. You know, as the chairman steers the course of the ship, he is focused. His eyes are focused on the wheels. His hands, too, are on the wheels. His ears are, again, directed towards the right atmospheric sounds, that they are not dangerous to the course of the ship. His eyes are on the compass. You see that concentration? And his tongue should be at rest. Okay? Listen to the people discussing. Then he does not make long speeches. No destructive comments. And best of all, he should not put anyone on an embarrassing situation. You know, it is the experience of some people that They have been discriminated on, they have been embarrassed, they have been harassed. Next meeting, even if you have given them previous assignment, next meeting, they are nowhere to be seen in your meeting. So, the chairman should never be accused of humbling people. But I think the chairman who is humble can easily be lifted by the members of the group. Okay? So, always exalt others, humble yourself. Okay? So, um, once we have reached this point, okay, there might be questions on, um, okay, questions. What if we have already closed the meeting? There are still questions. The chairman might intervene. He might put his words straight and said, okay, can we just take on this particular subject for the next meeting? Okay, we table it for the next meeting. Okay, notice that everything can be set straight depending upon the chairman. How his, his words are taken, how people respond to him will also depend on how he treats the members. So it's a two-way process. It said that the second role of the chairman is as a referee. So the first is at the pilot. The next is he's a referee. But he's not really an umpire to decide the prize fighters. But he's just there to officiate, to see to it that in the fight, judgments are fair, that judgments can be respected, can be upheld in that world and in the bigger world of fighting. So, fair play should be promoted. Impartiality, objectivity should be respected. All these will be carried out with the active involvement and leadership of the chairman or the president. Okay? So, here's some set of fundamental principles which are set by um, experts on parliamentary procedure. Here are four fundamental principles: justice and courtesy for all. I think this should be upheld. Justice and courtesy for all. The next is do only one thing at a time. Don't make it a hodgepodge, because what's the result? Spoilage, damage. When you take one thing at a time, it is taken with clarity, full acceptance, and satisfactory feeling. The majority rules. Let not the chairman change the course of the business by his interruption. Respect the majority rule, not your rule as chairman. The minority has the right to be heard. So, no one's voice is dampened. No one's voice is oppressed. Everybody thrives on freedom. Freedom to exercise his rights. freedom to say that your right to speak begins where my nose begins. Okay? So you do not prejudice others up to the extent of touching my nose. Your right ends where my nose begins. The chairman is here to facilitate action, not to obstruct it. The chairman is here to enable the assembly to express its will. No dictatorship shall prevail. It's the will of the people, not a will which is superimposed on them. The chairman is to give every member a fair hearing. Everyone deserves a hearing. His feelings should be known. Right or wrong, they should be known. And then the meeting can be decided on, I mean, the results could be decided on by the members. You see, in an assembly, we are lucky sometimes that we have an expert on this. We are lucky that somebody is held with his proficiency, professionalism, and we're happy to have that. So, competence, professionalism, and the chairman has always to maintain order. Where there is chaos, no sound decision can prevail. Sound decision comes from pleasant, euphemistic, optimistic, bright view. The opposite can overturn a meeting. Okay? So there are some details of the meeting which can be found sometimes in the constitution and bylaws of an organization. And this will be observed during the meeting. Now, the chairman is also known by its third role, MC. So, we had the pilot, chairman as a pilot, chairman as a referee, and the third chairman is a master of ceremonies. Now, since again, he is the person who has the sole responsibility of steering the activities towards a specific direction, then this person has to be a good speaker. Not necessarily a very articulate one, perfect in pronunciation, in intonation, in what. No, but he's a person who can express his ideas and get it straight, who can clarify matters with gentility, who can express his ideas for greater appreciation of the members. So, well, as an MC, he should be brief, not wordy. You see, as an MC, he has also to call the names of the speakers. Sometimes a meeting has some resource persons. The chairman may introduce these persons very briefly, or somebody else should be assigned to introduce the speakers. Okay, one rule is introduce the speaker no more than a minute. So it should not be an introduction longer than the speaker's speech. Brief. Now, sometimes the one in charge of introducing the speaker has some problems. He got a biodata or curriculum vitae of the speaker, which is very long. I understand why some people say, when we choose our speaker, we would like a young speaker because he has a short biodata. How funny. The thing is, the one who will prepare the speech of introduction of the speaker should know which to pick up out of the curriculum vitae submitted. Pick up only the relevant information of the speaker. Only those awards, training, specific items from his biodata, which will be relevant to his speech and to the subject matter of his speech and to what will serve as a proof of his competence, his professionalism on a specific subject matter he's expected to discuss at the moment. So, no problem about getting old speakers. Oh my God, I'll be very sad about it. Okay, so introduce your speaker for not more than a minute. Do not make a speech for the speaker. And be complimentary, not flattering. Don't be so, if your praises of the speaker could soar like an oration, sometimes you embarrass the speaker. So low tones. Make it low tones. Just the truthful expression of his competence to prove that the audience, the one in charge of the committee, wasn't wrong in the choice of the speaker. He is proficient, he is he is competent, he is polished, he is a professional as far as the subject matter is concerned. Okay? So no flatteries. No flatteries. So the chairman may call the name of the speaker, but it doesn't mean that he should not be praised after his speech. Praise where praise is due. Give to Caesar what is due to Caesar, and to God what is due to God. Meaning, don't be superfluous. Don't tend to exaggerate. Just moderate. Because if you don't praise also when he deserves it, the next time you extend an invitation, he might turn you down. Don't kill the ego of the speaker. I mean, it's okay, uplift him with praise, but not too much. Okay? So, again, as an MC, you announce, you facilitate, you set the order, and you make everybody feel good, especially in the exercise of his roles, the committees which worked for the program, everything, and the MC makes a proper closing. Usually, a person is called to make the last word, and if the person has not properly complimented all those present, all the ones who performed, it is proper that the MC makes due compliment in a very discreet manner. He should give appreciation for those who deserve to be appreciated. Okay? Uh, may I see if there are. Okay? So, I'm very happy that so many attended this live streaming. And bear in mind, you can have another live streaming on Saturday, next Saturday. Please be with us and join us for a very interesting discussion of some other topics which is deep in your heart, a source of fun and inspiration. This will be a regular thing for us, and I hope to share it right with you, enthusiasts of the language, enthusiasts of the promotion of good speech. So continue to support us and give us suggestions, your remarks, because we'll be here right in this channel, Cabredo Speech, and you may follow us because this is now a regular thing for Cabredo Speech. Thank you so much for watching. You have been an inspiration. Okay. Um, Miss, okay. Thank you for indicating your interest for the subject, and we hope to see you again next meeting. Thank you for watching. Okay, like, subscribe, and stay with us in our Cabredo Speech channel. Bye.